I've been seeing and hearing a lot of mentions of the prisoner's dilemma recently. I saw Dev talking about it on Twitter a few days ago. The day before yesterday, I was talking with Not So Erudite, where we also discussed this, and just yesterday, Sargon brought it up on Stamford Bridge as well. Now, usually, this is presented to illustrate the current situation as a no-win scenario, where the only option for both parties, left and right, is to seek the complete annihilation of the other, that we are now bound in this mutual pact of self-assured annihilation. Okay. But is that actually the case? Not quite, because what a lot of these mentions of the prisoner's dilemma forget to also point out is that we are not in the baseline prisoner's dilemma. We are in what is called an iterative version of the prisoner's dilemma, and it does have a solution, and the solution is the title of this video. I'll elaborate on that, of course, but let's begin by simply outlining what the prisoner's dilemma is, in case anyone is unaware. So, the prisoner's dilemma is where you have two sides. In our current political version of it, it's the left and the right, but in the original dilemma, it's a pair of prisoners. They have been arrested by the police, and the police do not have enough evidence to convict both of them based solely on the strength of the evidence at hand, so they seek to get a confession out of them. They approach both criminals separately and tell them if you rat out your partner, then you will receive no punishment, but he will take on a 3-year prison sentence, and we are giving this offer to your partner as well. They do have enough evidence to convict both of them on a lesser charge, so if both parties stay silent, then both take on a 1-year prison sentence. If both parties speak, they take on a 2-year prison sentence. And again, if one party rats out the other, the party that rats out the other receives 0 penalty, and the party that stays silent and gets ratted on takes on 3 years. Okay. In a perfect collaborative situation, the correct answer is obviously for both to stay silent, and they both take on 1 year, right? But that's not actually the best survival strategy, as in this scenario, there is no real relations between the two criminals. They haven't known each other for a long time, there are no bonds of loyalty or friendship or anything. This is intended to be a purely selfish own survival scenario, in which case the best answer is always to rat out your partner, as it gives you the opportunity to take no punishment, and in worst case scenario, you take a 2-year punishment, whereas in the other scenario where you stay silent, worst case is a 3-year punishment. And so you will always rat out your partner in this completely isolated scenario. Okay, fair enough. That seems to indicate again the mutual annihilation scenario. But our version of this in the real world, of course, is an iterative example where we have a lot of history to draw upon, and we know, crucially, that the left has already made a Faustian bargain, as they have turned to the man with the fork and said, listen, we will sell out all of our principles in return for political power. And that is what they have done, selling out their principles one at a time, claiming to hold them, and then moving on from the position when they get it, beginning with, oh, we simply want equal rights for gay people, for example. And the world says, okay, fair enough, and they get it. Then they move on to, for example, feminism, where, male society has been attacking and predating upon women for a very long time. Shouldn't we receive some special protections? And yet again we go, okay, I guess, here you go. And that then evolves into progressivism, which is, women and people of color have been getting attacked, and trans people. Shouldn't we be getting special protections? And so on and so on and so on. And whenever they reach the point where they say they'll stop, they never do, because they have no principle. They will always attack. They will always rat you out. Okay. In our prisoner dilemma then, we know the left will rat us out every time, because the left has ratted us out every time. Every time the right has been sitting in its cell going, well, you know, I should rat him out, but I have principles, I have honor, like it's not the right thing to do. Every time he's been betrayed. And after this has been going on for 10 years, you know what's going to happen. What then happens? Well, the solution then, of course, is to rat out your partner as well. Perhaps there is a tiny chance that he won't this time, in which case you suffer no blowback whatsoever. And in the case where both parties rat the other out, you still suffer only the medium penalty compared to the maximum penalty. In this scenario, ratting out the left, attacking the left just as hard as it is attacking the right, results in a lesser sentence for the right. And this is also part of game theory, right? So game theory is essentially the study of how to play a scenario out perfectly to the best effect, statistically speaking. And one of the best ways to game the prisoner's dilemma is that sometimes you need to cooperate. Sometimes you need to go, okay, even though I know there's a risk of being betrayed, I'm going to shut up because it's the maximum benefit, the maximum number of points, basically. So 0 years punishment. Or, well, 1 year in this case. Whereas sometimes, however, when you're up against somebody who actively predates on you, the only option is to predate on them. If you simply continue to surrender for all eternity, you will only ever be victimized. If you attack them, then you will at least gain the medium penalty. But here's the thing. There is something, of course, called retribution in this, which is where the title of the video comes into play. If you carry out a retribution against the enemy, then the enemy will also suffer the consequences. They will be in pain as well. And then the hope is that they will realize, okay, that sucked. I don't want that to happen again. Maybe collaboration is the best option. You're in essence trying to scare them into working with you by showing, no, I can also inform negative consequences on you. I can make you hurt as well. And that, of course, comes back to the Jimmy Kimmel video I did just this week, where right-wing cancel culture needs to go harder, because it is the only thing that last goddamn 10 years that has made the fringes of the left go, well, this sucks. I don't want to get cancelled. I don't want my monetization taken away. I don't want to have my livelihood destroyed. And suddenly they're thinking to themselves, oh, wouldn't it be better if we could all keep our livelihoods? Wouldn't it be better if we could all talk? And right now, I believe it's near entirely performative, but this is still the only thing that has gotten the left to at least pay lip service to the idea of free speech and having the same rights and privileges as their opposition, whereas preceding this, every time it has only ever been a demand for more. The retribution is working, but that retribution must be actual retribution. There is no danger right now of a civil war in America. There is no danger of a true mutual assured destruction scenario, as even if push comes to shove, do you think the left is going to be winning a civil war scenario in the modern day United States? No, of course not. It will back down if that ever were to come to pass, meaning that the right's winning move right now is to keep attacking. It is to enforce a retribution against the left until the left understands, I don't like being hit. Maybe we should both stop hitting each other. And there is absolutely a way that can happen, because a part of this winning strategy is also to stop hitting. Retribution must also be followed up with consolidation. It must be, okay, I've shown you the error of your ways, friends. That is the end goal, for both parties to agree, well, I really don't want that to happen anymore. Let's not do that. And we have countless examples of that throughout human history as well. Very rarely, if ever, has one side unilaterally surrendered to the other when it was a dominant position. Very rarely is it the case that the victorious side shows overmuch in the way of mercy to the defeated. And even then, it's usually in the form of something rather humiliating, shall we say. However, when a true catastrophe has happened, it is often the case that both parties go, right, let's not do that again. And, of course, opposite as well. World War I was a side of the Entente going, we're going to destroy Germany, bap, 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 bap. And Germany then went, okay, well, if everything is war, there you go. World War II, however, after the defeat of Germany, the Allies then, largely the United States, began rebuilding Germany. Indeed, to the point where today, a lot of Germany's industry began outcompeting Britain, for example, a part of the rebuilding effort of Germany. And lo and behold, today, Germany is a firm member of the European Union. Now, one can certainly argue that there might be some greater designs there as well, but the fact is, it hasn't invaded France again, which is always nice. So, to wrap it all up, we must force the left to suffer the consequences of its actions. The left must lose. And only when the left has lost sufficiently can we then go, that sucked, didn't it? Do you want to stop now? And only at the point where the left is willing to go, yep, that did actually suck, can we have any chance of returning to a state of mutual respect of one another, as the strong will never respect the weak and vice versa. We must be equals, and if we cannot be equals based on principles due to the aforementioned Faustian bargain of the left, which brought them a tremendous amount of political power, then we must be equals in a more kinetic fashion. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.